Hey, it's Caleb from Brownells here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to pattern a shotgun and also why it matters. So we're here at Big Spring Shooting Complex, and it's actually a pretty mild, pretty nice day today, so it's a perfect day to do this. And what we're going to be doing here, or what we're going to be using I should say, is more of a rudimentary target, because there's videos out there already on how to do this. But honestly, I haven't seen one that didn't undercomplicate it to some degree. It's way more straightforward than you think it is. And we're gonna be primarily shooting for like a turkey shotgun pattern, but the information I'm gonna give you is you'll be able to apply it if you're shooting duck, pheasant, whatever. You'll be able to take this information and apply it to that situation. Now, let's talk about the target I have set up here. I just went ahead and took a standard target stand and I stapled some cardboard onto it. What we usually staple on there vertically, I laid it horizontal and just stacked those and then put some large white sheets of paper on it. You could potentially just use the cardboard if you want to. I just added this so that you guys could see a little bit better. And then I drew a dot on it, about the size of a turkey's head or maybe a little bit smaller. So you can buy targets out there that are like the shape of the type of like bird you're shooting or animal or whatever. And that's great. You could do that if you want to. We all know what the animal looks like we're hunting, and we all know a general scale. So honestly, we don't need to spend extra money on that if we don't need to, because this is a pretty easy way to do it. And that's coming from someone who works for a company that sells targets. So if you never see me again, it's because I told you to save money. But in all seriousness, I just drew a little dot here. The shotgun I'm using, I've already shot a pattern with, and it should be pretty darn close to zeroed, but we'll be able to see on a fresh target, and I might actually have to make some adjustment. Now, the important thing to remember, and why patterning is important in the first place. So you've probably done some kind of hunting already before. Let's say you're a pheasant hunter. You went out, you bought a type of ammo, you killed a couple of birds with it. Now, in your mind, you're like, man, that's the only ammo I'm gonna buy because I had a positive experience with it. And you're not wrong for thinking that. That's like that's human nature. That's a human thing to do. We had a positive experience, so we wanna repeat it, right? But I'm here to tell you that if you were to pattern that same shotgun ammo and then try a few other brands, you may actually find something that patterns better. So those birds you did miss may actually be dead birds had you have patterned your shotgun beforehand and use the different ammunition. And that gets me to my next point. It's important to buy a few different boxes of ammunition. Like, I don't know, try 2, 3, 4 different types. Whatever's in your price range. You don't need to go crazy, you don't need to go break the bank. And what you may also find is a cheaper ammunition might actually pattern a little bit better in your shotgun. Now, choke tubes come into play as well. We have a video, we've done a video previously on choke tubes, so to keep this video more compact, I'm not gonna really touch on choke tubes too much. Just know that you should pattern your gun trying out different choke tubes, because obviously a tighter choke is gonna give you a tighter spread, a more open choke is gonna open it up more. So see how your ammo patterns with the choke you like to use, or maybe you'll find a new choke you wanna use because of how it patterned. Okay, so we covered the ammunition, we covered the target, we covered choke tubes. So let's just kind of get into it and start shooting. And we'll actually take a shot, and when we come back here, I'm going to tell you what to look for. All right, so let's just do that. All right, so equipment we're using here, we have a Mossberg 500 and 20 gauge and a Vortex Viper shotgun red dot sight, which is absolutely awesome. We have some videos on this thing out you should go check out. But we're using a Mossberg 500 because it's a good baseline that almost everybody has a Mossberg. If you don't have a Mossberg, you can afford a Mossberg. It's just a great, affordable, well-made shotgun. And we're just gonna use that. So we have a turkey choke in there, and we're gonna be shooting some words are hard today at the range, Federal Premium Grand Slam. This is a really good ammo for turkey, and it's just, it's awesome. It's a number 5 shot and has good velocity, good weight, and turkeys hate it, I feel like there's my cheesy phrase for the day, turkeys hate this stuff. So Federal, if that's not your motto for this ammo and you want to use it, you know how to get in touch with me. So let's shoot. All right. It's important to pattern with some kind of stability. So I like to just grab, my bag I use for long range shooting. I use this as a rear bag. I just throw it under the shotgun to help stabilize it. You want to remove as much human error as possible so that you can see what everything's doing mechanically. So let's fire a shot. And let's go see what happened. All right, so that was a pretty good shot. At this point, what some people would do is take the target back somewhere and then go count all the pellets and then draw an exact 30-inch circle and see what percentage of, they would do math to figure out what percentage of pellets is in that circle. Ain't nobody got time for that. Shotgun shoots a lot of bullets, a lot of projectiles. We don't need to do all that. We can see here clearly that our concentration of our pattern is pretty close to the center of our target. If that was a turkey, like this is its head, I doubt it's gonna be hanging upside down, right? So it's gonna be doing something like bird-ish, insert bird shape here. That is a very, very dead turkey. So we know the concentration of our pattern is close to the center of where we were aiming, and that's good. Now, if you're not using an optic, if you're just, using a bead, aiming down your sight, whatever, you just want to make sure that the concentration of your pattern is close to the center of your point of aim. And it doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to measure it down to the 1/4 of an inch or anything like that. It's a shotgun. You just need to get close. Now, with that, what are some baselines to look for? So, whenever I'm shooting a 0 for turkey, 25 to 35 yards is as close as I want to do it. So that's a good range for that. And I just want to make sure the majority of my pellets are close to the center. So if I can just visibly look and make a 30-inch circle, with my mind, but I'll use this just so you can kind of see. 30 inches is pretty darn large. Everything we shot, with the exception of maybe this little guy here, I don't know what happened. No, I wouldn't worry about that little guy. But everything else is in a 30-inch circle, so I'm not taking this target back to go count. Now, with that being said, you can apply the same thing to other types of birds. So let's say we're shooting, duck. 35 to 40 yards is kind of how we want to pattern. And with that, you're not going to be shooting turkey chokes. You're going to be shooting a more open choke in most cases, right? So your pattern is going to be spread out more. And you want the majority of your pattern to be roughly in a 30-inch circle. I'm not telling you to go draw a 30-inch circle. Just look at it, look at your pattern, and determine from that. So if you're really good shot with a shotgun, you can get away with just using a tighter choke. If you're not that great of a shot, use a more open choke. But what you'll see, and the reason it's important to pattern at this point, is that different types of shot shells will shoot vastly different patterns in different guns with different chokes. So try out some different stuff, see which one keeps the most pellets in a circle in your gun, and that's a theoretical size circle. So we generally will operate off a 30-inch circle. That's a good medium baseline, right? Which is almost the size of this paper from side to side, almost. So we can just look at the paper and get a pretty good idea. Now, if you're shooting pheasants, 40 yards is a stretch. I would probably pattern around 25 to 30, still using the 30-inch circle rule. So I would just take this target, push it back a little bit, and you'll notice this is turkey shot. So with stuff you're shooting pheasant with, or with pheasant chokes and things like that, you'll be more open, and that's perfectly okay. Unless you're shooting turkey, you don't have to be this tight. And if we were to move this thing in 10, 15 yards, it would be like the size of a softball. or shot group. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how much it's going to open up. Also, don't be afraid to try out different distances. You don't have to set it at a fixed distance and only shoot at that distance. If you're starting to see a shot that you like the way it patterns, it patterns a little bit tighter than everything else. It keeps more of the pellets towards the center than everything else. Don't be scared to move that target closer, and more importantly, push it out further and see how it does at range too, just to kind of verify. It's a good baseline. But honestly, it's that simple. There's so much content out there that overcomplicates the heck out of this. Just shoot the gun, look at it. If you like what you see, roll with it. That's it. All right. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I know there's maybe a nuance here or there that we didn't cover, but this is the meat of it. So there's a lot of experienced shooters, shotgun shooters, guys that shoot shotgun better than me probably in the comments. So make sure you leave a comment so that it is helpful to others, so others can go read through the comments and get some more information. So I'm inviting the internet experts in, right, to come and do this with me. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, post them down below. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button for more content just like this. And if you haven't already, hit the notification bell as well, because that's important, so you get notified. I don't know if I said that yet or not, but that's okay. And as always, if you need help with anything for any reason ever, feel free to give us a call on the tech line. We'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.